Yes, well, let's talk to Mehmet, the chairman of Migration Watch UK, which is an independent, non-political organisation. It researches migration flows and is very concerned about current levels of migration into the UK. Thank you for joining us this morning. I just wanted to first get your reaction to what the actual accusations that have been put to the French and British Coast Guards, which is that when these, according to these two surviving migrants who were trying to cross at the time, along with the 27 others who died, they were trying to contact each authority and they just kept getting passed on to the other authority. Do you think there's truth to that?
Well, first of all, can I say I agree with everything that Patrick said in his intro, and I agree with everything that you said, Mercy. So that aside, frankly, I see this as a totally absurd, vexatious lawsuit to bring. The humanitarian group, what about the humanitarian concerns for those that they are wrongly, absurdly accusing of having committed a crime? I really find it very difficult to understand how people who think they are helping those who are trying to get across the channel, how they can possibly be helping them by bringing this sort of ridiculous lawsuit. I'd like to believe that our courts, were it brought before them, would regard it as vexatious, would dismiss it immediately. And I hope that that's what the French courts will do as well. Apart from which, all it does, frankly, is encourage the traffickers to really put people onto these flimsy boats in the knowledge that if anything goes wrong, they won't be blamed for it.
I worry, Al. I worry massively that our courts won't throw it out, frankly, because I think of the optics of the situation, and I'm very worried of the knock-on effects of this, as I alluded to earlier on, that frankly now, if this does go to court, for example, that our Coast Guard now becomes a single-issue entity. Its only purpose would have to be ferrying people across the channel, because they'd be so terrified of getting that wrong. What do you think about that?
Well, let's be charitable to our courts and think that they've got a little bit more sense than that. Legally, I don't see how a boat that was clearly in French waters, and that's, I think, obvious now from what the French said, apart from anything. But I also think that it's an indication of why it's so important that the French and the EU do more to address this issue at their end, rather than thinking that once they get to midway point in the channel, it becomes our problem. That is clearly wrong. And I hope that the French will stop politicking and playground posturing, frankly, in the way that the president of France has been engaging in. Stop that and start thinking seriously about how to stop the flow, which, frankly, is in their hands.